Well, welcome back to a very special early show, our 4th of July Spectacular, a taste of America, the very best eats from sea to shining sea. And when you think of lobster, you think of Maine, where 90% of America's lobsters are trapped. So for the ultimate in cooked crustaceans, we need to head to the island of Georgetown, Maine. In the fishing village of Five Islands, you'll find the Five Islands Lobster Company. It is our special selection as the very best lobster shack in all of America. What makes their lobster so good? Well, here to tell us and show us how to prepare our own Maine lobster this 4th of July weekend is lobster chef Mark Murphy, owner of Landmark and Ditch Plains Restaurant. Good to have you with us, Mark.
How are you?
Everybody loves a good lobster. Have a nice round of applause for the lobsters. Mark. Woo! Big extravaganza. Why is Maine the #1 spot for Americans to get their lobster?
They say that lobster, it grows really, really well in cold waters. And up in Maine, they have some really nice cold water. And there's a difference between the lobsters that are on the seashell farther out that are even colder water. Yeah. But the meat is really nice and sweet.
And let's just talk about a couple of key elements when picking out that lobster and what lobsters you need. I think this kind of sounds pretty obvious that you're better to go for the fresh catch than something that's been frozen, correct?
Yeah, you don't want to go with the frozen stuff. I mean, it's okay if you have to, but the fresh stuff is just much better. You want to make sure your lobster's nice and alive.
Now, I love this, choose the movers.
Choose the movers.
Movers and shakers. Whoever's kind of hustling around in there, that's what you want to go for, huh?
This guy wants to go in. This guy wants to be eaten.
But that's the key, just to look for a lobster that is showing a lot of movement in the tank?
Absolutely, yeah.
And as far as the color, I know a lot of people think, well, when they see lobsters, they're supposed to be red, aren't they? It's not till after they're cooked, of course. But the color, the darker colors of the lobsters, what shades are we looking for?
You know, I've read a lot about lobsters, and you know, they come in different shades. There's sort of a brown brick sort of color, dark, but they're definitely not red when you're going to buy them unless they're already pre-cooked.
So what would be the best?
These guys,
is it darker color?
You know, I mean, I think these guys, the older ones are getting a little tougher. Yep. I mean, up to 2 pounds. I think they get a little tough after they get over to the 3 or 4 pound area. But these guys are about 1.5 pounds. This guy's about a 2 pounder. And these colors are good. I mean, you don't want to get the ones that are. You sort of can tell when.
And also avoid any lobsters that have been injured if there's a crack.
Well, you do see sometimes you'll have a lobster that's got a big crack or something, and that's not really that great. But the good thing about lobsters is, you know, even if they're in a fight or something like that, they do regrow their limbs, which is kind of handy.
All right, but let's talk about the preparation right now, because some people want to know exactly what makes your lobsters better than their lobsters at home. So,
well, you know, I spoke to the guy up in Maine, and he cooks his out of the tank water, and he has his water coming right out of the sea, and that's where he keeps it, and he cooks it in the water from the ocean.
Salt water, huh?
Right in the salt water. Nice. We don't have that option here.
We don't have that luxury.
My restaurants, we actually we throw a little bay leaf, some lemon juice, and that's about it.
So Hudson water wouldn't be advantageous for your lobster, you don't think?
Not yet. I don't think it's a good idea. Not a good idea.
All right, so basically, what do you have in the pot with your lobster?
Right here, just water, lemons, and some bay leaf.
Yep.
And just you throw them in. I guess I would say for about 1.5 pound lobster, which is this guy's about 1.5 pounds. 12, 15 minutes, depending on how much your water's boiling.
Yeah, and as far as you like the boil, the steam, what do you prefer? Is there a better way?
I like the boiled, just because I feel like the flavors that are in the water are going to get seeped into the meat of the lobster.
So at your restaurant, this is how it's served.
Well, we do actually. This is one of the ways we serve it. We call it a lobster pot. We call it Surfer Sundays. My restaurant's called Ditch Plains because it's a place I like to go surfing out in Montauk.
Got it.
And so what we do for $30, you come in, you get 1.5 pounds lobster, an ear of corn, some potato, and an andouille sausage, and we serve it with some drawn butter and some coleslaw, and $4 drafts.
Nice.
It's a good Sunday night.
Something to wash it down.
It's a good Sunday night.
Here on this show a little later on in the program.
And what we do to serve it, just to make it easier for the customer, we take the tail, we go down the back, and we just cut it like that. And then we take the rubber bands off, and you know, this is something people don't always know. You can just cook them with the rubber bands. These do not, they don't melt in the water. They're okay to do. And then something very important. You know, we don't use these kind of things in the kitchen.
Amateur.
Something very important. Take this out like this, crack back and forth, and what you're going to see here, you're going to take out, you see that piece of cartilage?
Yep.
Well, that usually is inside, and when you eat lobsters, it just gets in the way.
Yeah.
So you do that. We do this for the customers already, but if you're at home, see how you take that out? And then, easily done, just crack it.
Just with a knife, and be careful, right?
Right, and then, boom, we throw it in the lobster pot. There we go. And then we just serve it like that. And then the customers, it's easy just to break it open.
Mark, excellent. Thank you very much. Have a great 4th of July weekend.
Thank you very much.
Eat lobster. Okay, you've got lobster as your main course. You know what you need? Dessert.